Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Ever17, the Out of Infinity. Last time, it looked pretty grim. Still not great, but they were able to withdraw some antibodies from Tsugumi. And even more insane, there was radio contact with the outside world. Somebody's coming to get them. Wow. So, let's find out how this turns out. Maybe this episode? The communications cut out suddenly. Hey, wait a sec. I hit the call button repeatedly, but there was no answer. Damn it! We can't open up communications from this side. I didn't have any other choice. I began poring through the manual on the side of the communication terminal. A mini submersible for deep sea exploration. We hadn't found it when we'd searched the place. Ah, here it is. Following the instructions, I used the control panel to call up information on the monitor. It's a small electric submersible. The submarine was in a separate sealed sector attached to IBL. The specification said it was a neutral buoyancy miniature submarine for saturation diving. The important thing was, it could be brought over to the pool by a remote control. If things get dangerous, I guess they want us to board this. I quickly went about setting up the remote control program so that we could move the submarine at a moment's notice if we had to. Alright. All we have to do now is get Tsugumi and Sora over here. How is he going to get Sora over there? Oh. Sora. How are we going? Dadgummit. How are we going to get Sora over here? I was overcome by unease. Ooh, that sounds bad. Suddenly a low metallic crash reverberated throughout the installation. The sound seemed to come from above. An alarm sounded from the terminal and the screen changed. Warning, LeMU hull breach, flooding. LeMU. This is bad. That means Tsugumi and Sora. I ran out into the corridor. It was only slight, but the floor was trembling. I suddenly became dizzy again. Losing my balance, I crashed into a wall. It seemed I wasn't completely recovered yet. I didn't have any idea if the antibodies were working or not. Not a clue. I still gotta go. I have to go! Squeezing out all the strength I could muster, I staggered toward the elevator. As soon as the door opened, I flew into the lift. The elevator headed up.
Tiefe 90 Meter. Tiefe 80 Meter. Tiefe 70
Oh, dang. He's going up to LeMU? Oh, wow. Upwards. Takeshi, the action hero. Hopefully. The elevator stopped. Forcing open the door, I slipped into the pressurization chamber. The entrance had closed automatically. I pressed on the intercom button repeatedly. Sora! Sora! Hey, it's been a while. How you doing? You doing okay, Sora? Your programming going well? Yeah, let's just chat, you know, since the whole place is going down there. And I'm going to be the only one that's going to die from it. You might have a backup somewhere. And Tsugumi, well, we know Tsugumi's story. Realized how much I'd missed that voice. I waved to Sora as she appeared outside the window. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? I came back. What's the damage? So he didn't tell you or the kid where he was going, did he? Wow, they are going to be really worried about him.
通常通路ほぼ全域にわたって15センチ以上冠水しています。
Where's Tsugumi?
救護室に閉じ込められて。
What about the door?
電子ロックは解除されています。ですが、
It won't open because of the water pressure.
ええ。倉成さん、チャンバーの減圧を開始します。
How long will it take?
最速で行います。
I need to know how much time.
急いでも12時間。
12 hours? We don't have that long.
血液中に溶け込んだ窒素を排出しないと減圧状になってしまいます。
I don't care. Open the door now.
できません。
If we don't act fast, Tsugumi's dead.
今ドアを開けたら急激な減圧に伴って血液中の窒素が気化し血栓を作り、最悪の場合。
I don't care. You get that door open now.
ダメです。そんな。
I found an emergency escape lever inside the chamber and pulled on it. I kicked the door. It has very powerful feet. There's a horrible noise as though all the air inside had exploded. My body was thrown from the room along with the high-pressure gas that had been built up inside. I was tossed like a piece of confetti, sliding and rolling along the floor all the way to the control room. My body crashed heavily against the wall. Ugh. Pain racked my body, and it wasn't because I had smacked into a wall. Although I kept spewing out my breath, it felt like air kept bubbling up in my lungs. A terrible exhaustion. My whole body felt strung out. My eyes felt swollen and painful. The muscles in my limbs began to spasm. Numbness, pain, headache. Felt like I had no room to move. According to astronomers, humans can live for a short period of time, even if they are thrown out of a spaceship into space. But fish brought quickly up from the sea depths to Earth die instantly because a pressure difference causes their organs to burst. So as an astronaut, or...
倉成さん、変換器を。
I felt a splitting pain deep in both ears. Repelled by my eardrums, the voice converters flew out of my ears. I hurriedly held both ears with the palms of my hands and knocked them, as though trying to drain water from them. I couldn't hear what Sora was screaming. All I could do was lie on the floor trying to suck in air. Like a fish that had been pulled out of the water. A few minutes passed. The earphones that I had been wearing had broken in half. I got up weakly. I saw some extra voice converters on the edge of the console. I crammed them forcefully into my ears.
倉成さん、倉成さん、大丈夫ですか？
Tears welling up in her eyes, Sora looked at me with a pained expression. Okay, I'm still alive. At least my eardrums hadn't burst. I left Himmel and started heading up. I checked the screen on my PDA. It showed a map of LeMU, and a blinking dot showed me where Tsugumi was. From the console at Himmel, I had excuse me. From the console at Himmel, I had installed a program to link data from LeMU sensors to my PDA. Sora had prepared it for me. Don't you stop me, you hear? No matter what you say, I'm going.
わかりました。倉成さん、決意が終わりのようですね。では、私はこのヒンメルにとどまり、レミューの状態を監視して PDA に転送します。核壁をコントロールして崩落を食い止め、1分1秒でも長く全艦が維持できるように努めておきます。ですから、小町さんと一緒に必ずここへ戻ってくるって約束してください。
Yeah, it's a promise. I like it how people promise like that. I mean, it's probably the proper thing to do, but it's really something that nobody has control over. Running up the stairs, I looked down at my PDA again. The life sign in the infirmary wasn't moving. The map showed that the surrounding corridors were flooded and that there was no way to access them. I can't read that. And that there was no way to access the area. But I knew what I had to do. The area I wanted to go was filled with water. But because the watertight doors had shut on all sides of the floor, the water had stopped flowing. In that case, I thought I could make it. I went to the emergency corridor leading under the infirmary and dove in. How many times had I gone back and forth down this corridor? My PDA backlight shone a weak light on the area before me. Even then, I wondered how many more feet it was. But my body remembered. Even if I closed my eyes, I knew I could make it there. Turning out the light, I propelled myself forward through the darkness. I wouldn't let the darkness overtake me anymore. It wasn't something that I would run away from. It wasn't something I could run away from or be afraid of. I would take the darkness inside of me and make it my own. That's why I wasn't afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. Entering the room from the hole of the elevator shaft, I quickly climbed into the infirmary. Tsugumi! Tsugumi! She was in a corner of the room, hugging her knees to herself. At her feet was a slightly wet, furry figure of Chami.
Takeshi! どうして
Tsugumi looked at me with wide open eyes. What are you so worked up about, Tsugumi? Ain't you seen somebody just splash into an infirmary before with the whole place going down? Came back right now. Came back for you. Well, I guess I'm a bit late, but I scratched my nose.
バカ！何しに来たのよ！死ぬつもりなの？
One after the other, large tears started falling from her eyes. Listen. I was laughing as I spoke. I came back for something I forgot. Yeah, that's it.
忘れ物？
Picking up Chami in both hands, she stood up slowly. Yeah, I left it here, silly me. My irreplaceable, more important to me than anything else, friend. I guess it works, Takeshi. Oh man. You're choking on that cheese though. You're choking on that cheese. Oh man. You're really hamming it up, Takeshi.
ここへ
Choking on the ham and cheese sandwiches. She looked at me as though she still couldn't believe I was actually there. Well, I'm a good swimmer. Actually, I swam down and back in a 25-yard pool once. Full of mattresses. I kicked off the wall coming back, but still, I pretended to swim as I spoke. Wait, I think I just beat my record. Hey, do you remember the furthest I've ever swam underwater?
51メートル
She answered, her expression beginning to break down. Yeah. You think I'd die in a place like this? I mean, I still haven't gotten enough abuse from you yet. I want to hear what you've got to say from here on out. So, I came for you, Tsugumi.
Takeshi!
We ran to one another because my shoes were wet. I slipped and broke a heel. Reaching out our hands, we came together. I gently wiped away the teardrops around her mouth with my lips. And in the center of the infirmary, we held each other close, embracing firmly. Riding on both of our hands, Chammy snorted and looked at us. Alright, let's go back. Together. Tsugumi softly held Chammy and hid him inside the chest of her clothing. We had no time to lose. It was only a matter of time before this place collapsed in on itself. We had to hurry. I knew that. But I wasn't in a rush. We would make it. I'd never say quit. I'd never say it was too late. I knew it was going to be okay. Pulling on Tsugumi's hand, I flew like the wind. Okay, good. It sounded like he was just taking his sweet time.
倉成さん、小町さん、チャンバーの用意はできています。早く中へ。
I opened up the sliding door and rushed to the other side of the glass. We went in the compression chamber for IBL. Slouching back in a chair, Tsugumi struggled to catch her breath. I didn't think that I would be able to move for a while. Sora, you're coming too. What's wrong? You can't come no matter what? The door to the room shut automatically. The compression started. Sora. Sora stood silently outside of the chamber. Sora! I started to open up the door. Once again I reached out to the emergency lever on the side of the door.
倉成さん、いいんです。
Sora smiled softly from the other side of the window. She scrunched her eyebrows as if perplexed. Then slowly she shook her head from side to side.
私のことは大丈夫です。心配しないでください。前に言いましたよね。ここに私はいません。しかし私はどこにでもいます。ここにいると同時にあそこにもいます。私は存在しません。しかし私は偏在しています。もう一度必ず会える時が来ます。あなたが死んでしまったらもう二度と会えなくなるでしょ。だからお願いです。今は何も聞かないでください。
Sora.
私を信じて、倉成さん。ありがとう。
Her RSD image started to warp and break up. A fog enveloped Sora from behind. Sora's image changed to a rainbow hue, and then even the rainbow started to fade. Sora was disappearing. Watching this happen, I wondered where she really was. Would there really come a time that we would meet again? All I could do was trust her last words to me. An hour later, the room on the other side of the compression chamber had already filled with water. The compression finished. Tsugumi and I transferred to the lift and went down to IBL. As soon as we entered the room, the lights came on.
静かね。
Yeah, you're right. By then, the flooding was probably fairly advanced in the area above us. Just thinking something. How long did it say that the people would be there? I can't remember. Was it within 2 hours or was it an hour? Or were they giving an estimate when LeMU would start crashing and they told them to be ready within an hour for the submarine, or can't remember. Oh well. Perhaps some of the sections had started to collapse, but the surface of the pool hardly even rippled, as if there was nothing going on. I wondered how much longer the place would hold.
どうしたの？
The time. We're past the scheduled time.
予定？
Actually, there's a rescue team on the way.
救助？
Yeah, they call themselves the Maritime Defense Force, I think. You was able to open up the communications line, so we got a hold of Inso No. I turned the handle on the door of the examination room. The lights came back on in the room.
いない。
Sorry about that. Tsugumi searched around the examination room. Then she checked each of the capsule pods. I also did a quick search of the room. Coco's pod was open. The manual for the control panel was open to the same page. The used bottles of serum lay strewn on the floor. Yeah. You the kid, Coco? That researcher. They're all gone. Oh, really? Fascinating.
どこへ行ったの？
Tsugumi was starting to panic. Hey, hold on. I'm sure the rescue team found them. Just then a voice that I recognized came over the speaker. I hit the talk button. Tsugumi was next to me staring at the monitor. This is examination room in IBF3, over.
よかった。そこにいてくれたか。先ほど派遣した特急隊から到着連絡が入った時に君を発見できなかったようなので心配していた。
Why does he keep saying over? I'm sorry, I was out for a bit. Took a bit of a stroll. Got me some sandwiches at the shop. You know, the daily excellent, exquisite sandwiches.
診療室に残っていた要救助者はすでに回収した。現在民間サルベージの潜水艇にて応急処置中だ。
Is everyone okay?
今の段階では何とも言えない。重傷だ。ことは1分1秒を争う。潜水艇は一時緊急浮上して彼らを海上の病院へと搬送する。
Okay, you take care of them.
まだそちらに残っているものは？
Two, including me. The other person didn't make it.
了解した。できるだけ早く折り返しそちらへ救助に向かうようにする。しかし万一レミューの崩落が激しくなってしまった場合は特急隊が EBF に接近できない可能性があるが。
I've got the exploration vessel standing by. I can call it here by remote control, right?
あ、そうだ。すまない。よろしく頼む。こちらも最善を尽くす。どうか諦めず待ってくれ。
Roger that. The communications cut out. Wow. Even more excuses to keep this game stretching out to where it will not ever end.
どういうこと？
You weren't listening? It means all this would be for nothing if everyone died while they were waiting for us. The rescue team decided to put a higher priority on getting you, the kid, and Coco to the hospital rather than waiting for us.
そう。そうよね。
The color in Tsugumi's face slowly returned to normal as her sense of panic faded. Well, I might just take a nap until the next bus arrives.
バス？
If you think the bus is going to be late, call a cab for me, will you?
タクシー？
Oh my gosh. If these two are going to be together, she's going to have to figure out some sense of humor.
何言ってるのよ、たけし。
If you push that button, a small submarine will come over here by remote control. Our very own private taxi should come here from another area of IBL.
うん。
Anyway, I'm just glad that everyone's alright. Yes. How can I not talk? The adrenaline that kept me going earlier suddenly ran out. I'm just so glad.
たけし！ Takeshi!
My legs suddenly gave out. My head struck the hard surface of the floor. But before I could feel anything, I slipped into a deep sleep as Sugimi held me in her tight embrace. A soft warmness surrounded me. Light. I felt that I had overcome an immense distance. The end of the darkness. A soft white light surrounded me. There was nothing else for me to look at. There was nothing below me. Nothing there to support me. But for some reason, I was at peace. I was floating. Floating steadfastly. Steadfastly? Really? I was swaying freely in the center. In the center of gently drifting water. I could hear something faintly. The first sound I'd heard in my life. Yes, it was the sound of a heart beating. I remembered. I was surrounded by the gentle sound of a beating heart. There was no greater feeling of peace than what I felt then. How long would I be able to stay there? I didn't know. I knew that I would have to leave that place at some point. I would have to let go of that fragile bond soon. But I wasn't sad. If that time has come, darkness cleared again, and out of it would come a new world where I would resolve to be reborn.
おはよう。
This isn't the full 30 minutes, but I think I'm going to leave it here because I think they proved me wrong. Got the feeling they proved me wrong. Instead of using it as a way of stretching the game out, they actually made them pass out and pass the time. I think. I feel they're in a hospital or on a ship or submarine or something. But don't tell me. And we shall conclude this daggum branch in the next one. Maybe. Dang it, I'm seeing this ending. If it takes an hour, it's going to be an hour. I'm seeing this daggum ending. I hope you folks enjoyed, and I shall return in the next one. Farewell.